The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio. Coming up on the program today, we're going to discuss some beneficial insects that you can get in your backyard and how to keep them there, as well as invasive species and the alternatives which we better to grow. Our guest is Bill Stingle, sales representative of Summit Responsible Solutions, will be with us, and will answer your garden questions.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. I'm your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Happy you've chosen us to be part of your day-to-day, whether you're listening to us on one of the 18 AM and FM frequencies broadcasting our program here in 2024 through our parent radio, or our parent website, which is the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com. Underneath the Season 8 tab at the top of the page, podcast replay, in-studio video replay, however you're doing such, we thank you very much. You want to be part of the program or have a question or a comment, certainly send that over. You can do that in two different avenues. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Send an email, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at toll-free, coast-to-coast at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. And today represents half season, Holly. At the bottom of the hour, we will be halfway through Season 8 of the program for this year.
Oh, wow. Already?
Already.
Oh, shucks.
17 and a half done, and 17 and a half, at the bottom.
Right,
yeah.
Right.
Well, before we get into the program, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
So the joke of the week is, why couldn't the flower ride its bike?
Something about pedals, I'm going to guess.
Its pedals broke.
Oh, pedals broke.
Yeah,
All right.
All right, so the joke of the week is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests, insects like wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com. So, with that being said, we want to talk about some good insects.
We're going to go over about 5 beneficial insects that you want in your backyard, you want in your flower bed, you want in the garden. And if you don't have them, how to create the habitat in which will invite them in. We'll start with ladybugs, the most common, what is a good bug? Ladybug. Outside of bees, that's the next one in line.
So they are predators. They eat up to 40 aphids an hour, and they do start out as larvae, and then they grow, so they'll start as larvae on the plant, grow eating the aphids, etc. And I think one common misconception is, people will buy ladybugs to release them in their garden,
right? And
so you could do this, but there's no guarantee they're going to stay.
Minimal success, because you've got to release them. You've got to wet down the area so they have moisture to be hydrated with. You want to do it in the evening if you do it, because they will fly away. So it's not saying that it is a negative thing to buy ladybugs and then have them introduced into your garden. There is some steps in which you can utilize to best keep some of them around. But if you're buying 1,500 ladybugs or 500, not all of them is going to be there tomorrow morning.
Right. Yep, that's absolutely correct.
But you want to create an environment in which they will hang around, naturally come in, and this is with flowers and we're
gonna get to that.
Okay.
We don't have to say that after each one. So the next one is green lacewings, and they feed on pollen and nectar, but their larvae prey on soft body garden pests. So
again, aphids.
Yeah, and caterpillars. So so caterpillars are, I'm not sure if all of them are bad for your garden. You would probably have to figure that out, because
species by species.
Yeah, species by species, region by region. But yeah, green lacewings, that's good for that. Praying mantis. Now here, where the station is,
the show originates from.
Thank you. Praying mantis, we don't have. I don't think we
No,
have
it's a
those.
southern thing.
Yeah.
It's not something that is predominantly seen here in the upper portions of the Midwest, and out of Kansas City and Southern Illinois. That's a common everyday thing. Now, praying mantises are a very beneficial insect to have. They eat a lot of bad things, which is good for your garden to get them out of.
Absolutely. So yeah, the praying mantis, and so yeah, they eat they eat moths, beetles, flies. Now there are good beetles, but they eat all sorts of stuff, and they will also eat each other, which is something to keep in mind. So spiders, a lot of people think, oh, spiders are bad, spiders are evil, burn the house down. But spiders in your garden are good.
They create spider webs, which captures insects, a net, and they devour them, as well as they control different things about what's going on. They attack insects. Jumping spiders and wolf spiders especially are good for keeping pests under control in your garden. So we get this question on a fairly regular basis. I have spiders in my garden. How do I get them out of the garden? You don't want to get spiders out of your garden. You want to, yes, they made a web across the walk path. Yeah, it's a little encumbersome, but you do not want to eradicate them because they have a very beneficial pest control management to offer to your garden.
They do. And again, they help control pests. A lot of these, I don't know. I guess if this stuff freaks you out, you probably shouldn't garden. I don't know what to tell you. So ground beetles, and they are predatory beetles, and their larvae, and as adults, they will attack or eat things such as nematodes, caterpillars, thrips, weevils, slugs, and silverfish. A lot like Japanese beetles will also get rid of those too. So you don't want to crush every beetle you see. You want to do some research.
Well, we have $800 to $1,500 pieces of equipment in most of our pockets that easily can take a photograph and do a search based on the image, and it's fairly accurate telling you this is what this is and if it's good or bad.
Right. Yeah. So we do have that option, and whether it's good or bad.
You're doing other things on it. Might as well do some research on it.
Soldier beetle, and I'm sure there's apps too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there are.
Soldier beetles are another thing. Now I don't think we get them here. When I was looking at the picture where we are, but they are kind of in the upper portions of the United States, depending how far south you are. But they are a predator of Mexican bean beetles, and then Colorado potato beetles, which I know a lot of people find problematic at times.
Well, let's talk about, since we've labeled and went through several, what can we do in order to A, attract, and B, hold these insects into our backyard and work with nature instead of against nature by buying chemicals to spray what we think might be the problem?
So one of the first things you can do is you can grow, I don't know what you want to call the first things, but you can grow long blooming plants and also early blooming plants. So things like alyssum, and then other biennials like carrots or parsley that love to blossom. This will draw the beneficials to your yard early in the spring, and this allows them to kind of find a home there. And then the other thing is leaving yard debris. So you might think in the fall, I need to pick up all this yard debris, blah, blah, blah. But if you leave it there, these beneficials will lay their larvae. Sometimes they'll find a home there. And then right away in the spring, if you're like, as soon as the nice first day, you're like, let me just rip all this yard debris out.
And then you have two more snows and a 13-degree night.
So just leave them until we get, kind of into the warmer parts of the
Well, we've been conditioned, and many people, they live in situations where the neighbor's doing it, so I got to clean up, or I get penalized if I don't clean up at a certain time because I live in a certain group of houses that's controlled by a bunch of people that want to be dictators.
Right. Well, we can't fix all those problems, but what we can.
I'm just being realistic with you.
All right. Another thing is to put in a water feature, and this also will attract bees a lot of times. And you want bees, and we didn't talk about bees because obviously they are a beneficial We didn't talk about any pollinators.
That was the given.
Yeah. We didn't talk about any pollinators, but that's okay. I didn't want to. I want to talk about the other ones. So add a water feature. This will allow the good bugs to come and get drinks. And
now, you don't have to have a fountain or a pond. There are ways in which to incorporate water features and dishes with rocks in order for these insects to get moisture and then fly away or crawl away. So it's not like you have to invest $1,500 and have a landscaper come in and dig a pond or a 12-foot fountain in order for you to have a couple of praying mantises or ladybugs to hang around in the backyard. There's many ways around in which a water feature can be adapted into your landscape or your garden without having a whole lot of cost to go with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely correct. And then you can also grow native plants. So what you would want to do is you'd want to research native plants for wherever you are, and growing those is going to naturally bring in native and good bugs.
Most of your university extension offices in your county will have either on their website or printout available of what the native plants in your particular area is. And that can change region to region, state to state, and county by county in some areas, and elevation as well.
Right. That's correct. So, and then also if you use pesticides, whether they be organic or not, it is possible to kill some beneficial insects. Especially if you use non-organic. So you want to keep that in mind. You might want to limit your pesticide usage to keep your ecosystem in your yard very happy and healthy and thriving.
Walton's Inc., waltonsinc.com, sponsor of the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show, has multiple items available for you, whether you're a hunter or you just want to season up some of that meat or vegan burgers on the grill.
Yeah, so Walton's Inc., we know you care about canning and preserving your fruits and vegetables, but what about the meat? At Walton's, you can get the equipment, seasoning, and supplies to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. They do use Excalibur seasonings, which is the same ones that professional processors use, and they also have meatgistics.com. It's to help educate people on the hows and whys of meat processing. So if you go to meatgistics.com, that's where the information is. waltonsinc.com has everything you need to help you go from animal to edible. Walton's everything but the meat. You can use code GROW50 to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more. Again, waltonsinc.com. GROW50 is the coupon code.
And hang out with us. When we come back, we're going to talk about invasive species of plants and the alternatives which would be better to grow in your backyard. You're tuned into the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now 1-800-927-SHOW.
Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online. Take the guesswork out of composting with the AeroBin 400 or smaller 200 for easy composting. The AeroBin mimics how nature decomposes waste. The AeroBin is easy to use. You prepare your balanced organic waste, just open it up, drop it in, and close. After a short time, fertile compost is produced, which is easily accessed via the lower side door. The thermal insulation in the AeroBin conserves heat, leading to rapid breakdown of the biomass and works efficiently year-round, even in cooler regions. There is no need to turn the biomass, and it is pet and rodent resistant. It has little odor and can kill annoying weeds and seeds. It is BPA-free. The AeroBin 400 or 200 comes with a reservoir at the bottom to collect the leachate. When diluted, makes for great compost tea liquid fertilizer. AeroBin composts kitchen and garden waste quickly. Easy to assemble with no special tools needed. The AeroBin makes composting rewarding and easy. Go to burpee.com or homedepot.com to purchase.
Blue Ribbon Organics, providing locally made organic compost and soil blends for gardeners, farms, landscaping, and more. To find our products nearest you, visit blueribbonorganics.com. bug&keeping.com.
Happy 65th anniversary to David J. Frank, southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com. Make watering easy. DripWorks provides quality drip irrigation supplies and equipment to gardeners just like you for all your growing needs across the U.S. and Canada. Purchase online at dripworks.com. Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated seed company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 10TG24 to save 10% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 10TG24 at jungseed.com for 10% off. A non-selective herbicide that is also USDA BioPreferred certified? You bet. Say goodbye to Roundup and hello to No More Weeds by Naturally Green Products. No More Weeds kills weeds with no harsh chemicals and no glyphosate. Safe around pets, No More Weeds has a proprietary sticking agent to use around gardens, pools, decks, patios, anywhere there are weeds. Available online at natgreenproducts.com, Amazon, and Walmart.com. Order yours today. The same great company that brings you no more bugs. Wind River Chimes will always be the inspiring harmony. With a large selection and customization options, you will find the sound that soothes you. Visit windriverchimes.com to shop and find out more.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along today. Moments away, we're going to be discussing invasive species of plants and what the alternatives is. But first, a message from our good friends at Honey Bee Healthy.
Since the year 2000, Honey Bee Healthy Inc. has helped beekeepers maintain healthy and thriving hives, attracting pollinators to your garden this year as simple as hanging a hummingbird feeder with a mixture of sugar water and Honey Bee Healthy Original.
You don't have to be a beekeeper or have honey hives in order to use the product.
And don't be alarmed to see bees, birds, butterflies dining together at the feeder. Pollinators coexist peacefully.
In harmony.
Honeybee Healthy Inc. is offering a 10% discount code on 8-ounce bottle of Honeybee Healthy Original. Use code BEEGARDEN, that's BEE Garden at checkout. For more information and to purchase products, you can go to honeybeehealthy.com.
If you've missed any of the coupon codes during the program, you can always go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, and click on the Money tab at the top of the page, and they are all listed there for you and hyperlinked to make your navigation more accessible.
So let's talk about some invasive plants.
Yes.
Now, these all grow within the northern portion of the United States, so they should be in your listening area. And there's probably more. I'm sure there's more.
Yeah. We only have one segment to select several of these to inform you of.
So the first one is purple loosestrife. I know I've seen this. So it was introduced in the United States in the early 1800s for ornamental medicinal uses. I don't know where it came from, but that's okay. It does
Europe.
Okay,
and Asia.
Okay, so it produces seeds through the wind, or it spreads seeds through the wind, and then they grow at the rate of 1 foot per year. That's a lot. So you can
that's quicker than most kindergartners.
Yeah, really.
So we can see how aggressive these can be.
Yeah, and that's the thing about these invasive plants is they are very aggressive. So native alternatives are blazing star, which does look a lot like the purple loosestrife, American blue vervain, and New York ironweed. These are all great alternatives, and you can plant these, grow these, and they should hopefully do a good job. I say against the loosestrife, but yeah.
As a substitute. Japanese honeysuckle.
Yeah, so this is from Eastern Asia, and it is a honeysuckle, and it was brought over for ornamental use and erosion control. I believe they have deep roots, and they are on the East Coast. They adapt to a lot of different conditions, and it's an aggressive vine that smothers shades and will take out vegetation, or like kind of choke out vegetation.
So if you have let's say a hillside that has a bunch of thistles and you can't mow it, this may be, even though it's invasive species, this may be way to choke out a lot of that, because honeysuckle has beautiful flowers and very fragrant and brings in a tremendous amount of pollinators.
Right. And so birds do eat this and then they spread the seeds, but there's different types of honeysuckles.
Yeah.
And that's one of these is an alternative, which would be the coral honeysuckle. So you could try that, or the trumpet creeper, another viney plant. So these, if you do a little bit of research, maybe you could find something that would serve the same purpose, especially if you are trying to prevent erosion.
Just like we say a lot of times, week after week on the program, if you're looking to change your landscape or add a new plant and you're not 100% certain, the internet, yes, is a wonderful tool. They have the internet on computers now. Great thing. But there's nothing more credible than going to your local independent garden center and talking with somebody who knows plants inside and out and can say, yes, we recommend that, or you could, but this is going to be the problems you're going to face 5, 10, 15 years down the road if you plant this in your yard.
Right.
They know this. The internet doesn't always know that.
Absolutely.
Norway maple.
Norway maple. I feel like we skipped one on our list here, but that's okay. Norway maple is out of Egypt.
Europe, not Egypt. We both looked at it and said the wrong thing.
Right. So they were introduced in early 1756 from England, and they are a nice shade tree and popular in rural communities. And so what happens is that they choke out native maple trees and they can dominate the landscape, which, I mean, I think all invasive plants can do that.
Well, maples are fast-growing trees, so I can see how that could be. You plant one for pretty, and then all of a sudden you've seen these, what they call helicopter seeds, that on these maple trees they drop, and then the sweet gums have the gum balls, and you just get trees popping up throughout the yard and the garden.
I don't think we have gumball trees.
Sweet gumball tree, yeah.
So anyway, some alternatives would be sugar maple and red maple. I love me a maple tree. I think they're beautiful.
Do you have
trees.
A story about a maple tree?
I do not. I only have stories about birch trees.
Birch, okay.
Yeah. So I was going to climb a birch tree the other day, but I stopped myself. All right. So, and then there's English ivy, which is, I think there's like, is that the one?
It's sweet gum ball maple tree. They drop the fall every winter, and
But that's like a more southern thing, isn't it?
Well, we had them at the house. Yeah. No matter, you can drive them over the lawnmower. They don't cut up, and it takes a long time to burn. It's a whole thing. Okay.
So English ivy, you can actually purchase this at most big box store garden centers. I don't know if independent garden centers sell it or not. I've never seen it there. But it's kind of silly because it's extremely invasive, and it does date back into the 1700s that it came over here. And it just becomes a thing to plant, and we're just basically...
Like a staple that people don't know it's dangerous or it's bad?
Because it grows fast,
right,
and it grows under a lot of not the best conditions.
Right. Yeah. Lack of sun is they're okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the plant doesn't require a whole lot of sun.
Yeah. So you could do something like creeping mint or...
Well, the problem with mint or creeping Charlie, they're all in the same family, is once you have it established or once you put it in the ground, it's there forever unless you use a glyphosate, dig up all the soil and put a pond there, or a pool or a pond there, or you spray it with glyphosate and completely kill everything in order to get it, because they root underground, they tunnel, and they're everywhere. Mint and the whole deal. Once you can't get rid of it.
Right. Yep. So yeah, you can use creeping mint, which I don't know, like Joey mentioned.
Anything that says creeping, I would shy away from.
And then creeping phlox. I think that if you have this English ivy, like growing, taking over.
Move.
I don't know, just move. I don't know, burn your yard down.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
That's
like,
kind of like the.
You could aggressively pull it up, and then, or like if it really was bothering you that much, like say you want a yard that doesn't have creeping ivy all over it, because I know these plants, they have their root system is like a net. It's like a web, and so pulling it up doesn't even always help. It's just like insanity.
Yes, I know glyphosate would kill, but I don't know if a 2,4-D, because 2,4-D is more for broadleaf, and I don't know if ivy would be considered a broadleaf or it would even phase it.
I'm not sure either, but you could probably smother it out with some black weed barrier cloth, and then, or even just like some black trash bags, and then
solarize it,
and then you could start over. But that would take a whole summer.
Ivy is considered a broadleaf weed that can be difficult to remove. So if it's a broadleaf, that 2,4-D would not damage the grass, but it would remove, and that's what people use for that weed and feed to get rid of the dandelions and the lamb's quarter and all the non-grass species when it's, time to spring, we got to put weed and feed on the yard. Don't do that. Okay, we got time for one more here.
Okay. So we have what is this called here? Kudzu.
Kudzu.
And this is...
It's a tree. Comes from China, Japan, and the Pacific Islands. Arrived around third quarter of 1800s. And it's a predominantly ornamental plant, and later as for forage cover in the southeast.
Yep. So they brought it over to help with erosion, and then on deforested lands, and basically they just like planted it like mad. And then they were like, oh, so that was in the 30s and 40s. And in the 50s, this conservationist was like, this is invasive. We should not be doing this. So this is what happens. They
planted over 1 million acres of this stuff.
That's a lot. This is a small example of, as science develops, as people learn things change. Whether that be something like kudzu, whether that be like different gardening practices, whether that be like safe canning, safe food preservation, etc. Things are always changing. So just because back in the 1940s this was okay, that was what, 80 years ago, 90
no,
years ago?
Yeah,
however many years ago, things have changed. So
it's just the reality of life.
Yeah,
you don't use the same flip phone that you did 30 years ago.
Maybe I want to.
Anyway. Well, summer's in full swing now, Holly, and it's time to deal with those nasty Japanese beetles as they are in the process, if not already, wreaking havoc on your gardens.
Yeah, so if you're looking to successfully control beetles without damaging the environment, look no further than Beetle Gone from Phylum Bioproducts derived from a naturally occurring bacteria, soil bacteria. Beetle Gone is the only organic solution that successfully controls beetle invaders. Just mix the powder with water and spray on your plants. Once ingested, the targeted pest will stop feeding and die. And since it's an organic BT product, you know it's a great choice to use on your fruits and veggies, in addition to your ornamental flowers and trees.
Not only is Beetle Gone, does it work well, it is the best part about it. It is safe to be used around beneficial insects, just like we were talking about earlier. Ladybugs, butterflies, bees, they have no issue with water toxicity. That's Beetle Gone. That's BeetleGone.com from PhylumBioproducts.com. You can find those at the website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, or just remember BeetleGone.com. When we come back, the national sales manager of Summit Chemicals Responsible Solutions, Bill Stingle, will be with us. And if you still use a flip phone, more power to you. You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Make hand watering easy and enjoyable with HoseLink retractable hose reels. No more tripping over hoses, kinks, tangles, and avoiding rolling the hose up. With an automatic retractable HoseLink saves you time and effort manually coiling up your hose, leaving your focus on the things that will bring you joy in your garden. Available in multiple colors and lengths, you'll be sure to find the retractable hose that works for you. To find out more and to buy online via hoselink.com, use coupon code radio10 for $10 discount. Mantis tillers, the premium long-lasting gas-powered tillers, are the perfect solution for any garden. This Mantis machine is available with 2 or 4 cycle engines with a 19-inch or 16-inch tilling width. Your DIY companion in your garden and your lawn converts easily for edging, aerating, and more with optional attachments. Find details at mantis.com.
Your mosquito frustrations are over. Now with Mega Catch, suitable for residential and commercial use. Mega Catch mosquito traps produce a vast array of mosquito-attracted stimuli, including safe CO2, and can attract mosquitoes and other biting insects up to 150 feet away. Easy to use and set up. The Mega Catch is ready to make your outdoor space comfortable and enjoyable at megacatch.com. Use coupon code JOEYB, my name Joey B, at checkout and receive 20% discount on your entire trap order at megacatch.com.
Are you ready to take control of your home's comfort? With Mr. Cool DIY Direct, empower yourself with our top-notch do-it-yourself cooling and heating solution. Introducing the Mr. Cool 4th Generation Mini Split, the DIY-friendly way to keep your home perfectly comfortable all year round. Our systems come with everything you need for installation, including our patented pre-charge line sets, eliminating the need for expensive professional help. Visit MrCoolDIYDirect.com to learn more and to take the first step towards a cooler, more comfortable home. Don't forget, use promo code GARDEN for a special discount and free nationwide shipping. Mr. Cool DIY Direct. Cool your house, heat your space, all by yourself. Dig planting holes from a comfortable standing position. Step, twist, pull, and plant. Visit ProPlugger.com.
Soil Diva Liquid Microbe Stimulant Spray improves the health of your plants you work hard to grow, stimulates the natural enzymes, and increases beneficial soil bacteria. Go to soildiva.net. Soildiva.net. Water supply tanks provide BPA-free, long-term safe storage for drinking water from 35 to 1,500-gallon tanks. Water supply tanks has you covered. From preparing for unexpected needs, off-grid property, easy gardening access, and more. For questions and to order, visit watersupplytanks.com and use coupon code GARDENING10 to save 10% off your order. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joe and Holly radio show. Happy you've chose us to spend a little time with us today. Let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Bill Stengel is the National Sales Manager at Summit Chemical. Summit Chemical is a leader in eco-friendly pest control. Summit has responsible solutions for pest control problems that are high quality and eco-friendly. Welcome to the program, Bill.
Hey, glad to be here. Thank you.
Well, we thank you for taking time out of your day and just clear 100% transparency to our listeners. Summit Responsible Solutions, Summit Chemicals are a sponsor of the program, so I want to make clear that. And let's please give us a brief overview of Summit Pest Control mission, how long they have been in business, things like that, if you would, Bill.
Well, I mean, our mission is really to bring what we call responsible solutions to the consumer for their pest problems. Now, responsible solutions can mean anything from natural, organic, to chemically applied, but responsibly applied solutions. Because unfortunately, in today's world, there are a lot of people peddling things that don't work. And, we want to be the most responsible that we can and understand, or we want our consumers to understand that there are pests out there that are just not going to be controlled by organic or quote unquote safe measures. But if you use those products in a responsible manner, you can both take care of your pest problems and be good to the planet.
Right. An education of sorts to the consumer. We've got a product that works, but you just can't dump it and go and expect it to. You've got to do your work.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So speaking about being mindful about chemical intervention, what are some simple ways people can control or help even just, I don't want to say eliminate, but
moderate,
keep at bay mosquitoes without chemical intervention?
Well, I'll tell you that I'm glad you asked that, because the biggest thing is people have to understand the biology of mosquitoes first, and that is that mosquitoes must breed in standing water. If you don't have standing water, you won't have mosquitoes. So we advise people to go out, walk around their yard, take an inventory of their situation. Where can there be standing water? Oh, there's my kids left a little sand bucket outside, and that's collecting water. Water only has to sit for 4 or 5 days before mosquitoes start dropping eggs in it, and those eggs start hatching, and all of a sudden you've got mosquitoes, and it can be as little as a thimble full of water. So normally it's out of sight, out of mind, because people walk around and go, well, I don't have any standing water. Okay, look up. Do you see those gutters on your roof? Have you checked them lately? Because just a little bit of leaf or debris in that gutter creates a little pool of standing water, and then all of a sudden you've got hundreds of mosquitoes there.
And that's the thing. Humans, we are lazy. Mosquitoes, they have to find water to survive, and that's their instinct.
Absolutely.
We go ahead.
So, check the bottoms of your gutters. A lot of people use these black corrugated pipes to take rain away from their home, from their foundation. And boy, all those corrugations, they're just little breeding sites for mosquitoes. So check those out. Just dump them, get them clear as much as you can. If you have in-ground irrigation, check your control valves, anything that's underground that water can flow to and collect. So storm drains. There's all kinds of places around your home that you don't even think about that can hold standing water.
Well, we keep hearing about ticks. Ticks are bad. This is the worst year of ticks, most aggressive than ever. What are some tick prevention tips and things we should keep in mind before going out in the yard or on a hike in the woods?
Okay, so around the home, ticks need to thrive in humid, shaded areas. So if you have a full sunny area and you have a nice manicured lawn, it's really extremely rare that you're going to find ticks in your lawn. But if your property abuts a little wooded area, that's where the ticks are going to be. So, we advise homeowners to look at your property line, and if you have an area that's got trees and shrubs and stuff, put a barrier there, a 3-foot barrier of some nice dry mulch or some stone or something like that, because ticks hate crossing that kind of stuff. They need to be kept moist and humid, and they're out in the sun, and the sun is deadly to ticks. Move kids' swing sets away from that perimeter. Get them out into the nice sunny areas instead of the shady area beside the woods that you think, well, that's more comfortable for the kids, but unfortunately, that's where the ticks are going to congregate.
Well, and with ticks, I guess it's an old wives' tale. Oh, they're going to fall from the trees and on you when you walk through it. They're in the grass. They're everywhere. It's not just they're waiting to ambush something that walks by.
Yeah, they're not really falling out of the trees, but ticks are on the edges of leaves and brush and shrubbery and stuff like that. And ticks exhibit a behavior called questing. And questing is very simply, they're holding their little hands out, for lack of a better word, and they're reaching for anything that comes by, whether it's you or your dog or a mouse or deer or squirrel, any animal, any warm-blooded animal, they're going to grab on right away. And once they're on, they're going to find a place where they can burrow in and take their blood meal.
Now, does Summit have any, does Summit have any tick solutions for, whether it be something for the edges of your yard or something that people can wear when they're hiking?
So for the yard, for the area around the yard, because again, we want people to be responsible. You don't need to spray down your whole yard if you have a nice manicured, short-cut lawn. You just want to treat the edges. You want to treat the shrubbery. You want to treat the trees, areas where ticks are going to be. So we have a product called Tick and Flea Spray. And this is a permethrin-based product. Permethrin is recognized as a great acaricide. So what do I mean by an acaricide? Ticks are actually not an insect. They're related more to spiders, crabs. They're an arachnid. So an acaricide is going to be a good chemical to kill those arachnids, much better than a lot of the standard backyard sprays that you can find. So you treat those areas, and if you treat those areas at the appropriate time, and I always suggest you check with your county extension agent to find out when the best time is in your geography to spray for ticks. It can virtually eliminate most ticks in that area for 6 to 8 weeks. And then we have another product that for hiking, camping, gardening that you apply to your clothing. It's another permethrin-based product called Green Armor Insect Repellent for clothing and gear. You don't treat your skin with it. You treat your clothing. You spray your clothing before you put it on. You let it dry for a couple of hours. Once it's dry, you put it on. It will kill and repel ticks, mosquitoes, chiggers, and mites that land on your clothing, and it stays in your clothing for up to 6 weeks.
So is there something similar like that, like you could spray on a tent?
Absolutely. Yeah. I spray my patio furniture with it. It's, if there's any ticks that are crawling around that area, I want them to get to that before it gets to me.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. That's really helpful to know. And then as far as mosquitoes, what is something that Summit has for mosquito control solutions, and what is the main ingredient?
Well, getting back to what I was originally speaking about with standing water, there is standing water that people do want to keep around the house. So if you have a bird bath, if you have a fountain, if you have a decorative pond, you want to treat those things to keep the mosquitoes from breeding. And so we have a biological control, 2 products called Mosquito Dunks and Mosquito Bits. Both have the same active ingredient, which is BTI. BTI, Bacillus thuringiensis israeliensis. I dare you to say that 3 times fast. But you put those in the standing water. It will kill the mosquito larva. It's harmless to everything else. It's Mother Nature's way of controlling mosquitoes. It's a soil-borne bacteria that is now commonly processed to make into a product that you, as the homeowner, can treat your own standing water with.
And that's good that it's a natural, it's in the environment. You've just been able to utilize it for this particular application. It's not like you're creating some formulation in a lab. Absolutely correct. So how can people find out more about Summit chemical products, where to buy, and all that information? They can go to our website, summitchemical.com. They can call us. There's our 800 numbers posted on the website. We're happy to talk to anybody and direct them as to where they can buy products, or if they have any questions about any of our products. Well, Bill, we greatly appreciate not only being on the program and educating Holly and myself, but all of our listeners about ticks and mosquitoes and what Summit has available to control and eliminate them, and the support that Summit has provided this program to get the message out to our listeners. Always happy to help. And when we return, it'll be your garden questions and our garden answers. You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now, 1-800-927-SHOW.
Water the right amount for the right time with the soaker hose from Eaton Brothers. Soaker hose is one of the best ways to water without drowning your plants. And with a timer, it becomes a set it and forget it way to keep your plants healthy and happy. Soaker hose is designed to work at low pressure, seeping water slowly and steadily over the course of 15 to 20 minutes so the water can percolate the soil and get to the roots. Designed and manufactured to be lead-free, so no harmful chemicals or odors are added to your water supply. Visit EatonBrothers.com for more information and to buy.
Protect your plants from damage with the 3-in-1 Plant Guard and Special Blend Fertilizer. Visit ivorganics.com. Use promo code RADIO10 to save 10% off your order.
Rootmaker starts your plants off right and keeps them going through harvest. From their seed starting trays with an innovative design that air prunes the roots to their large variety of grow bags, 1 to 60 gallons. Their products will provide you the harvest you've never seen before. Visit rootmaker.com. Use coupon code ROOT24 to save 15% off your order at rootmaker.com. That coupon code is ROOT24 to save 15% off your order at rootmaker.com.
Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Have insects such as aphids or fungal gnats invaded your plants? Fight back with Summit year-round spray oil and Summit mosquito bits. Organic Summit year-round spray oil kills insect pests on indoor and outdoor plants. All natural mosquito bits kill fungal gnats larvae in container plants. Both products are harmless to people, plants, and wildlife. Summit year-round spray oil and Summit mosquito bit are available at garden centers, hardware stores, and at SummitResponsibleSolutions.com. If you could double the life of your raised bed boxes by sealing the wood with a clear, non-toxic wood preservative, would you? Well, now you can with a clear, penetrating product called Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's 100% non-toxic and easy to apply. Seal your untreated wood surfaces, even chicken coops, by spraying on Internal Wood Stabilizer. It's invisible, seals the wood from the inside out, and never wears off. Recommended by organic gardening experts, Internal Wood Stabilizer. Check it out at timberprocoatingsusa.com. Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy that you took time to be with us today. Appreciate your effort and attentiveness. If you've got a question, it's time for Garden Questions and Answers. Send it on over to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or if you'd like to give us a call, you can certainly do that at 1-800-927-SHOW. That's 1-800-927-7469. Had a number of questions come in. We'll see what we can get through to the top of the hour. Let's see here. Here we go. I have one pickling cucumber ready that I need to harvest before it turns yellow. How can I store it longer until I have enough to make pickles?
Well, so cucumbers only last about a week or so before starting to slime or mold or
get soft.
Get soft or not good. So it's best just to eat it, right away. And then when you get some that are, when they start to produce more, then you can start pickling the cucumbers. But you have to kind of be patient and wait and consume what you can now. And then when you have the larger harvest, then you can do something with it.
Well, and I don't know if it's a misconception, but pickling cucumbers, we can only use those for pickles. You can eat a pickling cucumber.
Yeah.
It's not it has the same material in it as a straight age or a burpless cucumber.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with it, and this is the advantage of mass planting. So you can get as much if you're going to be in that canning realm. That's why you do indeterminate tomatoes, or some people will do all determinate, have one big harvest, and that's when they process. Same thing with cucumbers. You plant a whole lot, and then you will consistently get enough to process. Now, on the other hand, like you said, the cucumbers don't last long. If you have beets you can put in the crisper, and they'll last for a long time before they get soft. So you could, that's a different story there.
Yeah, but some people don't like beets, so
roasted beets and pickled beets and beets, money beets.
I have heirloom carrots. They're about 6 to 7 inches top growth. Any idea when they're ready to pick? They've been in the ground for about 1 month and a half. I pulled one up, but it was too small.
Month and a half would approximately be about 45 to 50 days. Typical carrots will take between 60 and 80 days to reach maturity. most times you are going to see an indication of the carrot shoulders pushing up out of the ground. And you'll see a diameter of, a dime or a quarter size diameter. That would be the time in which you could start sampling. Now, that would be the time in which you could start sampling. Now, the longer you leave the carrot in the ground, that doesn't mean, if I leave it in for 3 months or 4 months, it will get extremely woody. And there's a certain point of the return of no investment where you leave it in the ground, and you might as well leave it in the ground for the whole winter, because then it will start growing again next spring. And the carrot is a biannual in which it will produce a seed pod. Now, it looks very similar to, Queen of Lace in the wild. I think that's the right term.
Queen Anne's lace.
Queen Anne's lace.
Kinda, yeah.
When in the flowering stage,
yeah, that's true.
You would not know the difference.
Yeah,
unless you know that this is where carrots were, and then you could save the seeds. But bigger isn't always better. You want to wait until it gets a certain size, and then harvest all of them, assuming that you have spaced out properly to give the proper amount of growth there. All right, what's the next question we have here? I accidentally bought ground soil. Can I use it in my potted plants?
Yeah, you can use in-ground soil for potted plants. It could be heavier and more compacted. So because of how it's made, produced, whatever you want to call it, a lot of times in-ground soil is a little bit denser.
If you're going to try to mitigate it into a potting soil consistency, go buy a bag of potting soil, because by the time you buy the perlite or the vermiculite or the cocoa coir and mix compost in with it, you're already expended the amount of what a bag of potting soil would be. So just chalk this one up to and use that in dump it in your raised bed or your garden or wherever you're going to plant your next thing at, work it in the soil, and buy your bag of potting soil and be done with it. I have harvested early potatoes. Can I plant more this fall?
Yeah. So depending where you are, depending on the variety of potatoes, it could take 90 to 120 days.
Yep.
So you could plant, if you know that you have 90-day potatoes, you can definitely plant those. If you're not sure, you could always harvest them right before
baby potatoes.
Yeah, baby potatoes or new potatoes or whatever you want to call them. It's not going to be a situation where it's like you have to wait the entire time. So say that we have one of these. It seems like our fall to summer, our summer is spilling into fall transitioning a lot later. So it's possible that you could get 90 to 120 days out of those potatoes. So I definitely would, if I had harvested my potatoes at this point, I would put whatever into the ground.
I would not replant in the same place in which you harvested those potatoes, because of there's diseases have issues. Now, whenever some potatoes flower, others do not. The potatoes typically flower around the 70-day mark in most instances, or about 10 weeks. At that point, you could harvest your potatoes. They're going to be smaller. To get the maximum out of your potatoes, you want to wait until the tops begin to die off. You don't have to wait until they're completely dead and you have to find the trench in which the potatoes were planted, but that's an indication. Also, you don't have to buy seed, quote unquote, potatoes. You can plant potatoes that are sprouting right now in many of our cupboards. You can cut it if it's bigger than a medium-sized chicken egg. Cut it to where you have at least 2 eyes on the potato. Plant it 6 inches deep, because they start getting less tasty. They don't have a very good taste after they start sprouting, because they're converting their energy into reproduction rather than a storage mechanism, because of how the potato is designed. So put them in the ground and have at it.
Absolutely. So then we also have when is the best time to harvest my garlic scapes? So if this is your first time planting garlic, you want to make sure your garlic is going to produce scapes. So that would be for the hardneck varieties.
Right.
And so you'll know, because you'll get this like sprout. I don't know if you want to call it a sprout. We'll call it a sprout. That kind of curls around
an extended growth out of the center stem of the plant.
Yeah, so it curls around, and then it kind of grows this little, like, when you look at the end of it, it looks like a little seed pod kind of thing. I guess that's probably the best way to describe it. And then what will happen is when you start to see those form is when you want to harvest them. And you just cut them right at the junction as to where they're coming out of the plant.
All right, first time growing tomatoes here. What do I cut off? What do I leave? I have 2 tomatoes growing on the bottom portion of a bunch of flowers at the top. Thank you. Well, first of all, you want to, on tomatoes. Tomatoes are one of these things in which there's a million different ways in which you can go about doing this. However, on a tomato, there's suckers, which is extended growths out of the junction of a limb and the stem. You want to trim the lower 6 inches of the plant. That's the first thing. To prevent or reduce the amount of splash up of soil onto your leaves. Soil has many bad things in it. Though it's a very beneficial and lifeblood of our gardens, it has a lot of diseases in it. It also contains bad bacteria called early blight, and that early blight or soil splashing up on the leaves can cause problems for your tomato plant. Progressively works up the plant, and by the end of the season, it is dead with fruit on it. So by cutting or trimming the lower 6 to 8 inches of leaves from the stalk, leave the stalk alone. If you cut the stalk, plant's dead. And opening up that bottom and anything in the canopy that could potentially be hanging down to get that splash up of soil, trim that. You're not going to hurt the plant. This is just a way in which to help the plant along. So that's step 1 by trimming it out. You can be done with that, or you can continue on with step 2 and 3. If you've already got tomatoes in the ground, that's fine. You can do this. Add a handful of yellow whole grain cornmeal. Yellow whole grain cornmeal contains a beneficial bacteria called trichoderma. Trichoderma fights the bad bacteria. Now, you don't have to apply this every time you water. Just plant the tomato, and if the tomato is already planted, just go along and just sprinkle a handful around the base of the plant. Then you can mulch pine straw, shredded leaves, chemical-free, seed-free, dry grass clippings, organic or chemical-free straw, shredded paper, whatever you can do in order to cover the soil. You're going to have that whole grain cornmeal. You're going to have mulch. You've trimmed the bottom of your tomato plants. By doing this, you are going to see a tremendous increase of plant health and productivity. You got to water as well. So we've done this for going on 10 years now, and always have had successful green tomatoes all the way up to the day of frost that kills them. Prior to that, our tomatoes looked like probably many of yours at the end of the season. Stem and fruit and all the leaves are dead, and typically, and most likely the plant is dead too, because all the leaves are gone and it can't photosynthesize, so it basically choked itself out or suffocated because it didn't have the available leaf structure in order to grow. Anything to add there? Oh, you want to support your tomatoes if you haven't got them.
I was just going to say you want to make sure you support them, not just by telling them nice, kind words about themselves to them. You want to use like cages or stakes or whatever it may be to get them off the ground. This will help. It will help get you a better harvest, and it'll also help for when you want to pick the tomatoes, and then also for any pests, diseases, whatever. You can view that easily, and a lot of times when they're on the ground, they're more susceptible to pests or rot or what have you. This will help prevent that.
Well, with that being said, we are at the time of the program where we discuss what we learned today.
So, what we learned today.
What did you learn? Did you learn something today?
I did learn. I didn't know this, and I feel like I should know this. That ticks, they prefer shade. They don't like full sun. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
What did you learn?
That's ground beetles, or I didn't realize ground beetles was as important to the ecosystem of your garden as they are.
Yeah.
By eating a lot of bugs and controlling a lot of things under cover items.
It's kind of interesting that beetles eat other beetles. That's like kind of cannibalistic.
Well, in some degree.
And ladybugs. I mean, you know that they go to town on the aphids.
Oh, look how pretty that ladybug is.
There's eating
Yeah,
aphids.
even aphids, yeah. What we learned today is brought to you by Honey Bee Healthy.
Whether you're a gardener, a bee hobbyist, or a professional beekeeper, Honey Bee Healthy Inc. has the products to help you maintain a healthy hive and thriving garden. For more information on how to use Honey Bee Healthy in your garden, visit honeybeehealthy.com.
Tune into the program next week where we'll be discussing, does it really work? A lot of stuff going on social media garden sites about this, that, and another. Banana water and baking soda. Does all this stuff work in the garden? We're going to tackle that next week, as well as preparing for your fall garden. Our guest is author Jane Barrel Christina, and we'll answer your garden questions. So until next week, for
Holly Baird.
I'm Joey Baird, and we will see you in the garden.